Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 32 of the No Reservations podcast. This one is the family one, the family edition. I have decided to change and call it because, well, here's why. There's a bunch of reasons. Before I get into that, though, I do want to mention something in case it's on your mind. I'd say the last few podcast episodes have very much been geared toward the creative side, the marketing, events, things like that. And it's important to touch on those. And I really love to share my knowledge and what I'm learning and what I see. And I do tons of research on this stuff. And I like to just share that with you because the marketing piece is what's going to bring you in the sales. And hopefully when you get those sales in, you're using the profit first for restaurants and you're becoming more profitable and paying people and paying your bills. And then it just goes on and on and on again. So yes, I think lately, the last few episodes, including this one, is going to be about feeding the top line. We're going to be about feeding sales. But as we go on, there will be more episodes that are very much zoned into the numbers, into the financials, into cash management, into all those other things that we, specialize in here. But I am spending some episodes on this piece because I feel like in the conversations that I have, whether it's in a group session, in the monthly Mac Daddy office hours, or the one-on-ones and the deep dive calls that we do here through Spark, this is probably the biggest struggle is just not having enough money, or at least that's the perception from our clients or potential clients and people in our audience, that they just need more sales, need more money. And that's not always the case, but that is their perception. And I want to speak to that. So again, this episode is the family edition, and I am going to go through some fun ideas that you may or may not have. I bet some you have not thought of, in terms of implementing in your restaurant, if it makes sense. And I honestly cannot think of a reason why it wouldn't make sense for any restaurant, unless you're like one of those ultra fine dining. But even then, I bet this would make sense. But we don't work with a ton of the, 10-course pre-fee fine dining restaurants. There's not that many of them left, I think. We don't work with too many of those. So overall, I would hope this would appeal to the vast majority of our listeners. Also, I love that this topic is coming up now on our podcasting schedule, because I just saw or read somewhere that I want to believe it's the Ground Round is coming back to Massachusetts, where I live. So if you're not familiar with it, the Ground Round had its heyday in the 80s, maybe early 90s, as a family restaurant. And if you mention the Ground Round to anybody who's probably in their 30s, 40s, 50s, or older around here, you're going to see a smile on their face. You're going to hear about the stories they had there. Because listen, the Ground Round did it right for back in the day. I mean, since COVID, things might be a little bit different now in terms of how you become the Ground Round of family restaurants, but they had it made. So they had a whole separate, this is what I loved. They had a whole separate dining room. So as you walk in, their layout was pretty much like any sort of chain, family, casual, casualish restaurant, right? Where it's a sit-down restaurant. Where usually if you can walk in the front door and there's a host in, and sometimes you can go to one section, let's say it's to your right, and there's a bar and bar seating, bar area, TVs, whatever. And then you go to your left, there's like the dining room, maybe no TVs, but more of the dining. You know what I'm talking about? Like that's kind of separated between a whole bar area, which also has dining, and then a dining room. The Ground Round was very much like that. But in addition to at least the ones that I've been to, and I want to say, I mean, I've been going to them since I was a kid, but I think I've been to 3 different locations, let's say, maybe even more, because this is when I was much younger. But you'd have the dining room, and the dining room itself would be broken up, somewhat laid out into 2 different sections. So you'd have a family, like a young family section, that was walled off or somehow partitioned off. And in that family section, there was a screen, like a pull down white screen, where they showed cartoons, and they showed no sound. I don't remember any sound, but like the old, like black and white, like Mickey Mouse, Popeye, like those, like you can't go wrong with those cartoons just running from a projector, like on the ceiling onto this white screen. So you would just have this displayed on a wall, and there was always a big popcorn machine, and you could just fill up your bucket of popcorn and bring it to your table while you were, watching the cartoons. The waitress come over, you order your meals, a regular, like a Chili's, like a regular, like American diner type. Well, it wasn't a diner. I mean, it was like a nice family restaurant. But I mean, that's when you were a kid, that's where you wanted to go. And it was easy enough for the parents to bring you, because especially if your kids are young, you know that cartoon being shown on the wall is going to kind of keep their attention for the most part. Of course, this was, before cell phones. But here's the thing, before cell phones, before devices, of course, it was before all of that. But I believe that there could be a saturation point to an extent when it comes to the tablet use. So yes, every kid has. I mean, literally, I don't know a kid does. Like every kid has one or has access to one. Maybe it's their parents, and so I would say most parents are used to handing over their cell phone or the tablet so they can have a moment's peace in having a dinner out, or the kid's not going to be crying, acting up, running around, whatever it takes. So yes, and that's not going anywhere, and I'm certainly not going to say that's not going, and that's definitely not going anywhere. But we've all been there, done that. Even the young kids, been there, done that. Like, yeah, great device. I know I can watch a show, fine, whatever. It's a different experience if now you could say, oh, we can go to this restaurant and you're going to see all of these fun cartoon characters walking like across. You could probably even do it in a way where maybe it runs the whole round of the room, like all over the walls. And that will keep the kids' attention, not for long, but for a while, it could keep the kids' attention. And it's just another reason to go there. So I think the Ground Round did it right. And I remember, I mean, even when they all ended up closing here in Massachusetts, I was much older and wasn't really a Ground Round type person at the point. I was probably in my 30s, early 40s, and I was probably in my late 30s. So I wasn't really going to the Ground Round then. That's when I was into fine dining. But I remember being sad, like, wow, where are families going to go now? Like, that was the place to go. So I feel the fact alone that I heard that they're going to be reopening here, I think there was a resurgence for that. Families want to go out to eat. Like, that's not going anywhere. And I would go on to say that the reason why more families do not go out to eat right now is because you don't know what you're going to get, right? So number one, it's not always the easiest thing, depending on your kids, to bring them out to a restaurant. It's not always the easiest thing, right? It could be a little bit stressful. So, and if you're going to go ahead and add that stress to your everyday plate to go to a place where they're inconsistent, you're not quite sure how they're going to react, if you're going to get in, what the service is going to be like, how long the food's going to take. If you're not quite sure of that, you're better off just being like, you know what, like, let's just get takeout, right? So be that restaurant if it fits your concept. Be that restaurant where you create this magic formula of being a family-friendly restaurant where they know they can go there. They know there's something for the kids to look forward to and do there. There's some type of interactive experience for the kids. So hopefully you can get them off the devices and or have an engagement with your kids who are constantly on their devices. Be that restaurant where you create a place where families are going to actually interact, at least for a portion of the time there. And they're also going to have good food. No one's going to complain. It's going to be simple enough. It's going to be always consistent. It's going to be good. The service is going to be right on, and they can count on getting in and out of there in an hour, hour and a half, whatever it might take, and that you're going to be ready for them. If you can be tried and true to that, you will become the family restaurant in your area, and they will keep coming to you. So you need to build it. And this does not cost a lot of money, depending on what you want to do. But if there's a market for you where you are, and I bet a lot of places do have this, it might be worth giving it a shot, giving it your all for 3-6 months, a year, and seeing what comes out of it. So there's a bunch of things you can do. One, I love the Ground Round experience of the popcorn. I know with COVID, no one wants to share. You could probably, serve popcorn like you do bread service. right, where you just bring it to the table so nobody has to have all their fingers in a popcorn machine, or maybe you make it fun. Completely up to you. Maybe you roll it over to the, like tableside popcorn, you roll over the machine and you scoop it out for the kids. They would love that. Of course, having coloring menus, coloring pages, coloring books. I mean, come on, like that is so cheap. Crayons. I mean, that is so inexpensive to not, let alone almost free to do, that you're crazy not to have that stuff readily available to keep kids busy, off devices, and maybe even interact with their parents a little bit, who can help them on a puzzle, a crossword, coloring, and whatever. My daughter's 14 and still likes doing that stuff. She won't order off the kids menu anymore. I think that ship sailed about 2 years ago, but she still will play the games. So that, make sure you have high chairs, of course, kid-friendly utensils, if that makes sense to you. And then you absolutely need to accommodate for allergies and food preference, but that's probably goes hand in hand with the kid menu. But allergies, like, I'm not saying go over the top, but let's face it, parents are over the top when it comes to allergies. So definitely have something to make you, those parents feel better if they happen to come in with a peanut allergy or a gluten allergy, that there's something that the kid might want on the menu. So just keep that into account. I'm not going to tell you what that is. You can figure that out. I know it can be done. Okay, so that's kind of like the overarching. If you have an empty dining room Sunday through Thursday nights, or a portion of the dining room, I'm telling you, and there are families that live in your town or near your town, you can make this into a family-friendly restaurant for those nights, or maybe it's just from 4 to 6 or something like that. Okay, so we have that going for you. All right, so next up, the birthday bonanza I love, which I talk about all the time. But in addition to just celebrating birthdays, there's so many fun little tweaks you could do with that. I mean, one idea is you could give someone, it's somebody's birthday, they get a bell. Obnoxious? Sure, but the kid's going to love it. A little bell. It doesn't have to even be that loud. When you find out it's the birthday and you say, oh, here's your birthday bell. And when it's time for dessert, you ring that bell and I'm going to run. This is the server saying this. I'm going to run right over and take that dessert menu, or I'll know that you're ready for your dessert, because maybe it's an automatic hoodsy cup or whatever it is you give for desserts. I would be a little bit more creative than that, because you could possibly charge more, or if you're giving free birthday desserts, fine, figure out a way. You just want to put a humongous smile on that kid's face so that that's where they want to go. That's where they want to tell their friends. You're serving them something that is Instagram worthy, so the parents want to take a picture of it and post it all over Instagram. So now everybody else wants to bring their kids for their birthday dinner. Be the kid birthday spot if they come in Sunday through Wednesday from 4 to 6, something like that, if that makes sense. But I love the birthday bell idea. I researched that. I just found it and was doing my research, and I thought it was adorable. And maybe you can do just get plastic bells from Amazon, and they can keep it with them. Your parents would love that, I bet. So that's adorable. Birthday clubs, of course, that's an easy way to get that customer comment card that I'm constantly lecturing you about in front of them. Oh, we have a birthday club. Oh, you noticed we had a couple of birthdays in the dining room? Yep, if you just want to fill one of these out, we'll send it out to you as well. So there's that. That's part of the comment cards, birthday club, the bell for free. And I mean, of course you can go crazy with it, entertainment. If you happen to have, want to do if it's your birthday in the month of February, come on these few nights and we're going to have, balloon artists, magicians, characterists, do-it-yourself cupcakes. I mean, you can go nuts with those. Maybe it's, all right, February birthdays on every Sunday in February. If it's your birthday, come on in and we're going to have this balloon artist here. And, that's a great idea and fairly inexpensive, right? So stuff like that. Here's something extra I kind of like to add. This will have to build over time, but I think it'll be worth it for you. So how about this? How about you build out a birthday box? Oh, I love this idea. You can get really fun, inexpensive boxes at Michael's. Mostly it'll be cheaper probably on Amazon. And you can fill that birthday box with some decorations, balloons, the things that the kids, like the little horns with the squiggly things, crazy straws, whatever. So call it a birthday box, call it a birthday bonanza box, call it whatever you want. And you can do it inexpensive enough. It's not going to be free, of course, but inexpensive enough that when you find out it's somebody's birthday and you can present them with a birthday box, and you kind of lift it up like it's a cigar box almost, and it's filled with just really fun looking things. Maybe it's a little box of crayons with your printed out fun kid games and puzzles or whatever. Maybe a little bit of candy. Maybe it's just like some decorations and some balloons and things like, I mean, you can get stuff so inexpensive now. Fill up this box with so much fun that they get to take with them. So I'm not saying reuse it. Create it so it's a gift to the kid. I mean, the Instagram worthy moments will pay for themselves, but the kids who get that to bring it home and put on their shelves, dude, I just came up with the whole thing right now. And I just think that is a fantastic idea if it makes sense for your concept. I can't think of a lot of concepts that wouldn't be helpful with. So yes, you're going to spend a little bit of money, but I think the reward you're going to get from doing that is going to be a no-brainer, over-the-top ROI. All right, next up, so we're kind of getting away from the birthday celebrations, but I do love that. So in addition, I wanted to add to that, in addition to just having the birthday box, if you don't want to give it away for free, then maybe on your website, and if that's where somebody goes to make reservations, or maybe they call in for reservations, you upsell them, say, oh, are we celebrating a birthday? Because, you know, we do have this whole birthday bonanza, birthday club, you make up the name thing, where we actually have a box of really fun like toys and activities, and we can get, you know, a small bouquet of balloons. You could pre-select a crazy over-the-top birthday sundae or birthday whatever, and we can have that all ready to go so that when you're here, it could be like a total surprise for the birthday person. And then if you want to do that, yeah, if you want everything together, it's, you know, $25, you're going to get this, this, and this. Oh, too much? Okay, no problem. You can just have the dessert. So maybe it's $20, maybe it's $10, 15. You know, you want to make money on it, but you don't want to be obnoxious about the price. You could always change the price later, because if you're just building this out now, you want to see, does it work? What's the reaction we're getting? Are people posting about it? Things like that. And I'm not encouraging you to tell people to post their kids. They're going to do it anyway. So I'm not saying that you have to say, oh, and if you post on Instagram, you might want to stay away from that. I think it'll just be natural. Or maybe you just train your service staff to be like, oh, you know, did you mind? Like, this looks so good. And maybe they'll say yes or no. I don't know if you want to do that or not. It's an option. But I think you can just rely on the fact that if you make this so fun and so over the top, and that kid is smiling ear to ear, or that adult, I mean, I'd be smiling over ear to ear, that someone's going to take a picture and post it. Why would they not? Okay, now moving on. Menus that win over parents and kids. Yeah, it's got to be approachable. You know what kids in general like, what a 5-year-old diet. The same 5-year-old diet is good for a 13-year-old diet. So you pretty much have them from, 2 years old to 13 years old, sometimes even older, of what needs to be approachable. You can try and make it healthy all you want. You might have a little bit of problem with some buy-in, but maybe have some healthy options, like some type of taco could be a healthy option. I don't know if I would go with like tofu nuggets. I don't know if that would work. The other things that you could do to make a kid menu friendlier and funner, as they say, is nickname the items on the menu. I've seen, I wish I pulled it up for this podcast. I didn't, but you could probably Google like funny kids meals names. And I know I've seen some that are just like hilarious names about like, mom needs a drink, and they're just really funny. Like not green beans, not vegetables, and it actually be like a burger. You can just, be funny, be creative. Kids will love it. Parents will eat it up. Or you can just be super, super cute, like Mighty Mouse mac and cheese, superhero spaghetti. That's for obviously the little kids, maybe even big kids, and just make it really fun. And I definitely recommend having a separate kids menu that's fun to look at, that's vibrant and colorful. Maybe that they get to keep and take home. Like it can't hurt to have that laying around the house, especially if there's friends over. So designing, highlighting your kids menu, really, really, really important. Okay, so then now let's turn a little bit to the parents, right? Making them raving fans. I mean, a few ways you can do that is just by making it fun for them. You could have a drink menu, parent survival drink menu. You can put some fun things on that. You could, and you also on that menu, maybe at the bottom, you have kids surviving parenting menu, and it could be all mocktails. So maybe you can even mimic, like, here's the parent survival drink, and then you can make those filled with alcohol if that makes sense for you. And then the bottom, this is the kids surviving their parents, and make it a mocktail menu, and maybe they mirror each other, and one is going to be fun, but obviously without the alcohol. And with that in place, let's just stay with me here. So if you get, everyone or almost everyone at the table, you have a family there ordering from that. So everyone now has a fun, fancy, fruity looking drink with crazy straws and garnishes, or however you want to do it. Maybe you add to that a family happy hour. And the happy hour could be small bites, like almost like the poo-poo platter type thing. So now you're saying, oh, here's our family happy hour menu. And maybe they get some chips and dip, pigs in a blanket. Maybe it's a small thing of nachos, something like that, where it's made for sharing. So once again, we're putting the devices away. You're creating kind of this fun adult/kid happy hour where everyone gets a fun drink, and you're putting in front of them family happy hour, small bites where you get to share them, and it makes everybody happy. And now you're engaging and interacting and not just having your own meal. That could be a really, really fun thing for families to do together and look forward to, and make it like a weekly event. So love that. Love that. Next up, creating a space that works for everyone. That kind of goes back to what I said in the beginning about the ground round and other restaurants, that like it makes sense to have kind of a zone where your families are kind of going to be, but you don't want that to be the crappy zone. You don't want that to necessarily be like next to the kitchen zone, although it might be okay, but don't make it look like they're getting, the shit end of the stick. Like, you still want to make it so that it's really engaging and fun and families want to go there. So big, wide, comfy booths if you can, kid-friendly decor that's not, annoying or offensive to parents. Maybe some soundproofing so that the rest of your bar, other dining room, if you have one, is not being totally affected. Soundproofing is fun and easy to do, not too expensive at all. Probably well worth the money, so you don't get the reputation of, oh, don't go to that place, too loud with families. You can absolutely do some fun soundproofing in a way that kind of keeps that magic into one area. Then there's the outdoor, and I see that popping up all over the place with the outdoor, with just the outdoor games, picnic table style seating, umbrellas. If you can do it, that should be a no-brainer. Just make sure you keep that area safe and clean. Like, nobody wants to go there and see dirty like tables or stuff blowing away. You want to make sure everyone's on top of keeping that clean and fun. And then, of course, it might also make sense these days to have one or two tables maybe pegged for quiet zones. And maybe you don't advertise this, but maybe it's on your website that for special needs guests or those that have like sensory sensitivity, that you could say, listen, if you want something that's a little bit not as cacophonous, it's going to be in the corner, it's going to be quieter, the lights are not going to be as bright, it's not going to be crazy stuff, like you can reserve, like let us know, and we'll do our best to make sure that we have kind of a quiet, softer table for you and your family. So again, like not something that you want to advertise because it's not as common, but it's becoming more common. And just the fact that you thought of that and offer that to your guests, even if it's just something on your website, or maybe if it makes sense, printed material in your restaurant, that's a word of mouth thing that will spread far just because you're being so thoughtful. Next up, special event marketing, turning one-time guests into regulars. Special event, easy breezy. I've talked about this in other podcasts. I don't need to get too crazy into it. We have Taco Tuesdays, family feasts all night long. So easy to do Taco Tuesdays. And you can make all that stuff to go, and they can do Taco Tuesday at home with all your fun stuff. Easy breezy, crazy not to, if it makes sense for your concept, of course. Another fun idea could be Superhero Saturday. Maybe that's an afternoon. Maybe that's a 2 to 4. When your restaurant's quiet, Superhero Saturday, the kids come dressed up and they eat free. You could do a mom and dad date night. Maybe there's a way where you could do that, where you can almost be like mom and dad feel like they're on a date, and the kids maybe sit at a family style table just a little bit away where their eyes are still on. The kids can sit together. I might be reaching here, but I would love this idea. And when my kids were younger, they would absolutely go for that. They would absolutely go to be at a table with other kids. At least they have each other, but they'd meet other kids and they can kind of do some fun things. And the parents can feel like they're having a date night with their kid right there. I mean, I love it. I mean, it's a lot on the staff, But if you have the setup for that, it could be a win-win. How to maximize social media for family events. So you can encourage parents to tag your restaurant with event hashtags. That could just be something, maybe a table tent on there. I don't know how much you want to push that when it comes to featuring their kids. They might not even have to. They might just feature the restaurant and not their kids. Featuring birthday of the week. You could ask for permission if the kid wants to be known as the birthday person of the week. Photo wall of fame. Oh, I love this idea. If you're like a true down and dirty family restaurant, you obviously can get their permission to put a photo wall. Here are our family hall of fames. And maybe it's like the family comes out for a birthday and the table's a mess. Maybe there's a big, huge birthday hat. They all have their arms around each other. The picture's taken. It goes up on the wall. Now they have bragging rights. Oh yeah, we're on the family wall of fame down there. Like, I love that. That is little to no cost. People will be, especially if you're in a local town, people could be like, oh my God, I saw you on the family wall. And it gets people talking about your place. It's just, it could be so fun. You can change it. You can take it down if you don't like it anymore. I just think that was a really cute idea. And of course, community partnerships, which I talked about in the last episode too, reaching out to schools, booster clubs, sports programs, parenting groups, any type of fundraiser, field trips that are happening that year. I mean, you could really maximize partnerships in that way if you just reach out. And then lastly, the last thing I wanted to go over is family VIP perks and subscription-based dining. You know me when it comes to trying to fit a subscription in your restaurant somewhere. Not one size fits all on this. Actually, one size fits maybe one on this one. So it really has to be right for you. But now that we're talking about families, maybe there is a family membership program, and maybe part of that family membership program is they pay, I don't know, $19.99 a month. They're not going to miss it. $9.99 a month. You decide. $5.99 a month. $25.99. You figure out a monthly fee. But with that monthly subscription, they'll get VIP reservations, and maybe you block out. Like, you can't do VIP on Friday and Saturday nights or whatever makes sense to you. But they can do it every other night where they get VIP reservations. So they move up front. Wait list. If they don't make a reservation, they move it up to the top of the wait list. If it's a birthday, maybe they automatically get that birthday box, the decorations at the table, the staff singing happy birthday, the over-the-top family dessert with 4 spoons or 5, whatever it is. So you could create a family subscription or a membership program. They pay every month. It's monthly revenue, small enough that they're not going to miss it, but big enough that it makes sense for you, where you can include lots of great fun stuff in it. And then you're guaranteed to have them at your restaurant more often than not, definitely for birthdays, creating a scene, getting people to talk about it. I love it. I love it. I hope someone takes this idea, runs with it, and then calls me or messages me or emails me and tells me it worked like a charm or is a total flop, and why. I want to know. All right. I hope this was enough, because I could go on and on and on, but holy cow, we're almost at the 30-minute mark, and you know I like to keep these short. So that is it for today. Thank you for watching and or listening to episode 32 of the No Reservations podcast. I will see you on the next one.